We're still on round 28 in the Premier League, of course, and we're discussing the best talking points from all the action that happened over the weekend. And starting with you, Victor, Liverpool scored 5 goals against West Ham. Surprise, surprise. But 4 of them came from set piece situations. They became the new Arsenal for the weekend. And that means Liverpool now actually have the most goals from set pieces since January 2026. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm happy to see them finally make some decent use of set pieces after conceding so many goals from set pieces all this season. They were one of the worst teams in that regard, and now at least getting some good play from attacking set pieces definitely has made a difference. They also have changed, if you've noticed, the corner taking routines. They go almost exclusively for in swingers nowadays. They've dropped the out swingers. So I think that isn't exactly a coincidence. They've done that since pretty much the beginning of the year. Now seeing them get, I think it's 7 goals since New Year's Day from set pieces, it's definitely an improvement, and I'm happy to see it. At the same time, of course, would I prefer to see a fluid rock and roll Liverpool playing and scoring 5 goals all from open play every game? Yeah, absolutely. But I'll take what I can get. This has been an odd season for Liverpool anyway.
Yeah, fair point. And Max, over to your neighbors at Manchester. Manchester City just about managed to beat Leeds 1-0. And in that game, they actually looked like they struggled. But would you say they missed Haaland or Leeds were just overly difficult?
I mean, Leeds obviously played decent, and I kind of feel like in that particular game, maybe Haaland wouldn't score because the gap between the players was quite low, and the fact that he's used to score at open play goals and from corners and stuff like that, it kind of feels like Mamouche did better than Haaland could have, I feel like at least. So probably I wouldn't say that for that specific game it was a problem for them, but for this season itself, obviously, you always want to see Haaland playing and scoring, so they definitely lacked him.
Yeah, fair point. And back to you, Victor. St. James Park is usually a difficult side, even for some of the so-called big boys. But how did Everton somehow score 3 goals and beat Newcastle away from home?
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? I didn't really see this coming, and if you look at the stats, whether it's ball possession, shots on target, Newcastle have dominated, but XG, my God, what a difference. 1.03 for Newcastle and 213 for Everton. It's in no small measure also thanks to Jordan Pickford, obviously, with that amazing save and injury time. I don't think this is something we will see very often from Everton, especially not under David Moyes. He's not that sort of coach, and especially not away from home. But it was very much refreshing to see, if nothing else. A bit disappointing if you're of a Newcastle persuasion, but it was entertaining for us as neutrals, I suppose.
Yeah, fair point. And Max, Bournemouth and Sunderland played out to a 1-1 draw. Would you say that was a fair result for both sides?
Probably say so because watching the game itself, it always felt like a pretty much each team game and like a draw all the way, at least from the like 40th or 50th minute. But obviously, Bournemouth played a little better. They have more chances, but overall, I should say that both teams should accept that result.
Yeah. And Victor, I know this counts as a surprise, but actually in our preview video before, sorry, in our predictions video before round 28, we were actually critical about the odds they gave Aston Villa to win. And the question is, yes, we suspected this from the odds before the game, but how did Wolves manage to pull off that 2-0 win against Villa?
Man, honestly, I it completely blindsided me. Like this was probably the most shocking result of the season for me, at least so far. Um, it's more shocking than imagining Arsenal beating Man City 5-0 next month, or the other way around. Like this was absolutely out of the blue. I've mentioned this in our awards video before, and it's simply a sort of result that leaves you speechless. Wolves have been so very poor all season, and to pull this rabbit out of the hat, no, I had no idea whatsoever.
Yeah, and that was actually pretty surprising. And that's all we have for round 28. Of course, from everything you guys must have listened to, it was a very, very exciting round of action. It had all the drama, all the fun, all the wonderful moments. And, now we are looking forward to round 29 because in our upcoming videos, we'll be doing justice to all of the upcoming action happening in midweek.